So what is up, guys? Welcome to another one of these vlogs, and in this video I just wanted to go over 5 things you should avoid as a programmer. So the first one I wanted to cover essentially is that when you do programming and you go on YouTube and you look at videos, one of the biggest mistakes you often will probably make is writing in the comment section, how should you do something? Because that is the slowest way to find a response, and the response is definitely already on Google. So I definitely recommend you try to avoid writing why something is wrong in the comment section. Of course, it's nice to write it in the comment section because someone might have an answer for that, and that might lead to helping a lot of other people. But as a professional programmer, you should not rely on others that much, especially if it is a very specific response, because just like you posting the problem, you're not really answering to anyone's problem, which means not many people really care about helping each other as much as getting a response for their own problem. But of course, as you can see, for one person it takes a lot of effort. I can't answer to all of the questions in the comment section below because it's just too much. It's too many questions, and a lot of the responses are always the same. And I always recommend the first thing you do is go straight to Google with your question, because there's a 99.9% chance that it is actually there. But that is usually the first mistake people make. Also on Stack Overflow and so on, any place you can post a question, it's nice that you can post it there. It might help someone else in the long run, but always check first online before posting anything, because the answer is probably there. Now, the second mistake you might be making in programming is copying YouTube tutorials or any code whatsoever line per line, which means you're not really getting the idea of how the code works. The reason I can work in so many programming languages is because I can read Python and I can translate that to Java, or I can translate Java to Kotlin. The most important part as a coder is understanding how the code works, because once you understand how a concept works, you can write it in any other programming language you want. If you literally copy one word per word, you will probably end up with a syntax error, a spelling error, you'll have some mistakes, and you'll also end up with a long list of errors that just don't make sense, and it's totally understandable that you don't understand it. You just copied it randomly and it doesn't work. So I definitely recommend you actually spend some time in understanding more how the code works rather than what each keyword does, because keywords come and go. I mean, everything gets deprecated by Google sooner or later. Okay, and that brings me to the third mistake a lot of programmers make, and that is only using one language for everything you do. Because there are some things that you can do in Python that are much easier than if you were to do them in Java, and some things that you will do in C# that are much easier than if you were to do them in JavaScript. So, I mean, every language has its purpose, and learning one language is literally learning all of them. The hardest thing for me usually is to remember how to create a for loop in each language, and that just takes about 2 seconds of Googling, and you will understand immediately how to do it. So again, it's really important to understand the concepts of how these languages work and how the programs work, because with that, you can create any program whatsoever. And the fourth mistake a lot of people make usually when programming is not taking enough breaks. I know how it can be when you have a single problem or a bug, or you're in the flow of creating something great, but after, let's say, 4 or 5 hours, your brain just isn't the same as it was when you started programming. You need to take a walk. No matter how bad the bug is, you need to go ahead and take a little bit of distance from the problem, because I guarantee you that resting even half an hour to an hour will completely refresh your mind, and when you come back, you'll see a solution that just should have made sense, but that you were just working so hard to fix until that point, and you will completely facepalm because it was so easy to fix. Many times, I mean, I would work maybe 2 hours for a bug at midnight, and then I would wake up next morning and see that there was a semicolon missing, or an extra semicolon that you didn't need because it's Python, you know? And something like that. I mean, it can be such a simple bug fix that you just cannot see because you've just been staring at the screen and your eyes have gone all blurry. So definitely remember to take breaks, remember to eat well, because this will contribute to you actually being able to program efficiently. And I would say that mistake number 5 is feeling overwhelmed from all of the work you have to do, or how big a project may seem. Not everyone can start off by creating a Facebook app, but I know when you start coding, the first thing you want to do is create some great Messenger app, some great Facebook app, some dating app, whatever. You want to create the biggest project ever once you start. And when you look at all the components required, you need to think Facebook has millions or billions of lines of code written behind it. It wasn't created all in one day. Each day you learn something new, you learn a new component, you learn how to add this stuff together. And once you become efficient at learning how the components work, you can literally create anything. You'll realize that it takes maybe a day or two to create a Facebook app, but it will be fast and it will be much more efficient than if you were just to go straight at it without understanding how anything works, because that will waste a lot of time. You'll have lots of errors and it will be a lot of copying and pasting, and that's going to be really, really hard on you. So remember to take things one step at a time. If the project looks too big, just break it down. Continue breaking it down into its fundamental parts so that you can build your way up like Lego blocks, and in the end you'll create a very nice castle of code, you know? And yeah, fun fact, that is the code palace. But as always, guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this short blog, and if you liked it, I'll try to make more in the future. Otherwise, we'll just continue with the tutorials. But with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.